Good morning. My name is Spiro Pantazatos, and I'm an assistant professor of clinical neuroscience at Columbia University in the Department of Psychiatry and a founder and CEO of My Brain and Me. Our world is hyper-connected, but people feel isolated and disconnected. Many audience members here have experienced or are close to someone who has experienced a major mental illness. I myself am very close to someone who suffers from debilitating anxiety, depression, and suicidal thoughts. Scientists use MRI imaging to understand the brain and how it relates to mental illness. They need large data sets to be able to extract reliable and accurate information that will lead to effective neuroscience-based treatments for psychiatric disorders. However, the pace of assembling these large data sets is slow because brain imaging is expensive and time-consuming. There are millions, if not hundreds of millions of brain scans that are already out there in the world. Study participants and patients with MRIs get a digital copy of their scan. However, they often have trouble accessing these files because they come in a specialized format on CD. What if there were a way to give them a way to access their files, see inside their own brain, get them excited about neuroscience, and give them a feeling of agency and control over their own medical data? What if there were a way to crowdsource these brain scans, along with information from the scanned participants? This would create a large and comprehensive database that would link people's brain imaging data to the course of their lives and give us an unprecedented ability to understand our brains and how it relates to our mental health. Welcome to My Brain and Me, a digital media platform through which people can come together to volunteer their brain scan data to help speed up the pace of mental health research while learning about themselves in the process. You can think of us like 23andMe, but for brain scans. We want to make neuroscience engaging, accessible, and useful to everyday people. So the question is, who would want to engage with our platform, and how and why would they do that? Meet Margot. Margot hears about My Brain and Me from her nephew, who used the site to create a keychain based on his brain by downloading a 3D file and printing it out. Margot happens to have a CD at home from when she got an MRI scan for migraines, but she never knew what she could do with it. Later that night, she logs on to our website, and within a few minutes, she's able to upload her brain scan. She was recently fascinated by an article about the hippocampus and its ability to generate new neurons throughout adulthood. The hippocampus is a brain region that's critically involved in forming, storing, and accessing our memories. Has anyone here ever imagined where in their brains memories are formed, where are they stored, and the brain structure that is involved? Well, Margot has, and she uses My Brain and Me to take an up-close and personal tour of her own hippocampus. In the process, she learns about its general functions, as well as what activities are thought to affect its shape and size, such as exercise or even meditation. She's so excited about what she learns that she shares it on social media. Her friends who don't have MRI scans use our website to sign up for research studies in their area so that they too can participate and see inside their own brains. Margot and her friends also learn how they can participate in neuroscience and mental health research online through our platform. We are currently developing a web interface that allows people to upload a brain scan, and in return, they get to interact with a 3D digital rendering of their own brain in the browser. The core team behind My Brain and Me includes myself and lab members Katie Surrence and Mike Schmidt. That was Mike's brain that you saw in the previous animation. Collectively, we have over 30 years of experience in computational neuroimaging, cognitive and psychiatric neuroscience, and web development. We are well positioned to take advantage of our university resources and the New York City startup ecosystem to bring My Brain and Me to market. We talked and interviewed to 100 people to find out What would motivate people to give us their brain scan, time, or money? What we found out was that there's three main types of interest. The first, we're really interested to explore their own brains and to make art from them. The second, were usually patients who hadn't been able to access their own files and really like the idea of being able to control and manage their own medical data. The third weren't really interested in the images themselves, but only if they could provide some sort of actionable insight. We are unique relative to other brain imaging software platforms in that we are creating a consumer-facing product for education, recreation, and self-exploration. We are currently collaborating with developers of XNAT, which we use as our back-end database solution. In the near future, we look forward to partner with health education software and content creators so that we can co-develop an engaging user experience centered around people's own brains. Revenue for My Brain and Me will come from three main sources. First, end users would pay for premium features such as customized brain art or the ability to track and interpret changes in their brain over time. Once the platform has matured, we would partner with imaging centers so that they can deliver data to their patients in a beautiful and accessible format, differentiating themselves from the competition and driving more data and participants onto our platform. Finally, once we achieve a critical mass and a higher user base, researchers would pay for access to the brain imaging data and the participant pool. We are currently, over the next year, we will be raising at least $500,000 in pre-seed funding to help us achieve our next milestone, which will be to activate and collect brain scan data from 500 or more participants. We hope you will join us on our mission to reduce the suffering of mental illness and to democratize access to the insight and beauty that cutting-edge neuroscience can provide. Thank you.